So here we are recording the second part to our sound import and car burnout animation. And what we're going to be doing is just adding a few of the finer details to this animation to kind of really give it a good feel and a realistic feel to it. So what we're going to start by doing is adding in a couple new layers, 3 new layers to be exact. And what we're going to be doing today is actually making the tires rotate and add some smoke coming from the back of the car as it pulls out. So we're going to start by naming 2 of the layers, rear tire and front tire, and then the layer that we also just added, we'll call this one smoke. So 3 new layers, and so this first layer, what we're going to do is we are going to need to take the wheel, just the rim really, not the whole wheel itself, off of our car and kind of copy it and paste it onto a new layer. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to double click on our car graphic and zoom in even further so that I can really just see the tire here. I'll zoom out a little bit further because that was about too far. And what we're going to use is our lasso tool. So the lasso tool is right here. You can press L to get to it. And we're going to have to click and hold down the mouse. It's a little difficult to see the line it's drawing because it is drawing in black. And it's not too bad of a deal if you are not going perfectly around your rim, because it will still offer us the illusion of a spinning wheel. So we want to take this center area of the wheel, and I'm going to press Command C, or I'm going to go edit and copy. Then I'm going to go back out to the main scene, and I'm going to paste. I'm going to go to the first frame of this rear tire layer, and that is where I'm going to paste. So I'm going to go to edit and paste in place, and I think that it actually pasted it up here. So you got to watch out for that. Sometimes paste in place does not always paste in place. So what we're going to do with this rear tire graphic now, we have it selected, as we're going to convert it to a graphic. And this I'm going to call back tire. And then I'm going to move this graphic right over the top of where that wheel actually is. And I'm going to zoom in really close to make sure that it lines up correctly. And I'm going to nudge this with my keyboard. So just using the arrow keys on my keyboard, I'm nudging it 1 click at a time. Much easier than using your mouse. And I can see that now it seems to be right in center. So that will be the same process we're going to do for this front tire. So again, we're going to choose our car graphic. We are going to double click to go into it, and we're going to take the lasso tool. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. I'm going to take my lasso tool and try to go as close as I can around the edge of this graphic. I'm going to take this all the way out, and I made my circle complete, so I'm going to again edit and copy, and then go back out to my scene, zoom out a bit, and then go edit and paste in place. Again, it seems to like to put that up here. So what I actually have to do is back up and undo and make sure that I'm pasting this now on the front tire layer, and then converting that also to a graphic. We'll call this front wheel. Okay, and then on this first frame we are going to take that and drag it into place right over the rim of the front tire. So nudging with my keyboard arrow keys to get this right in the right spot. Okay, so that is good. So now we have both of those graphics for the wheels all set, and now what we're going to do is move them along the side here and make sure that they stay with the car, because as we go up in the animation, you can see the car is moving, but not those rims. So we're going to need to add new keyframes in here at the same points as they are with the car. So I'll just take these and I can move them right over, again nudging with my keyboard and holding the shift key. If you hold the shift key and nudge, it's going to make them jump further than just doing one nudge with the arrow keys. So shift and nudge will move them over a little bit quicker. I like to do that just because it assures that they're going to stay in line. Okay, so then those have matched up. So what we can do now is go back out and we can add a motion tween for each one of the tires. So now what we should see is the car moving in and the tires are right over the top. So what we're going to do to these tires now is we're going to add a rotation to the motion tween. So if we click on the first keyframe of this rear tire and we go down to our properties bar down here, we'll see an option hopefully that says rotate, and we want to change that from auto and we're going to go to clockwise. So we're going to make this tire rotate clockwise, and in here this box we're going to change this 1 to a 3. So we want this, we're saying this tire in this motion tween to rotate 3 full times before the car gets to the center of the stage, which seems to me about the right number. So we'll do that same thing with the front tire here. So we'll go up to the front tire layer, first keyframe, go down to our properties bar, and change the rotation to clockwise, and then change the number of times to 3. And now what we should see if we scrub through this animation is you can see the car wheels, the tires are rotating as the car is moving. So I'm going to save this really quick, and what we're going to do is do the same thing for the car taking off. So we want 2 more keyframes that are going to line up directly with where the car taking off starts, and then again, like before, we don't want the tires to be left behind. So we're going to have to add a motion tween to take those tires with as well. So we'll go down the animation a little bit, shift and click on each layer to make to highlight it like this, and then press F6 to create a new keyframe. And then again here we are going to take these tires and move the rims down so that they match up with the car off the stage. And now I'm going to zoom in and maybe nudge these just a bit to make sure that they are in fact lined up still. Check the front one. Okay, looks like they're lined up. So we can go ahead now and add motion tweens to both of these tires as well. And always a good idea to save every once in a while. And so now these tires should actually, the rims should move with the car here, but we haven't added the rotation yet. So we're going to do that as well with the front tire and rear tire. Is go down to our properties bar, select the clockwise rotation and change the number to 3 times. And do the same for your rear tire as well. Click on the first keyframe of that tween there and go down to your properties bar, change rotation to clockwise and the number of rotations to 3. Alright, so now we have the rims rotating. The last detail we're going to add in is kind of a smoke cloud coming out of the back of the car. And so when we watch this kind of scrub through, you can see the tires rotate. It's subtle, but it's there, and it just adds that little more realistic touch to our animation. And so where we're going to actually add this smoke, and we're going to make a slight adjustment to our sound, but I'll explain that in a second, is we're going to add our smoke kind of right in between the start and stop, or the stop and start of this car. Because what we really want to create the illusion of is that the car is kind of revving up and the smoke is coming out and then it takes off. So we're going to put our smoke animation right in between the stop and start. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take our ellipse tool and we are going to draw a good sized circle. That should do. And what we're going to do is fill it with a gradient that goes from gray to transparent. Okay, so to simulate how your gradient bar might start if you had not been working on this project, if it starts with a solid white to gray gradient, we will go to the white side and turn it alpha down to 0, and take the black side and just turn it down a bit here so it's more of a gray tone. Alright, and we're going to take this and convert it to a movie clip. That's right, movie clip. So we'll press F8 and not just a graphic, but convert this to a movie clip. We'll call this cloud, maybe. That works. Smoke cloud, whatever you'd like to call it. And we're going to move this into place, kind of right behind the car, and double click on this movie clip. Now inside of here, inside of this movie clip is where we're going to actually add the animation. So inside this new time frame, your cloud time frame, we're going to go down to the 80th frame or so, press F6 to create a new keyframe, and what we want to do is actually go back to your first keyframe and make this smoke cloud much smaller. So we're going to make this like tiny little circle here, and we want that smoke cloud to grow into this bigger one. So what we're going to use is a shape tween. So we'll add a shape tween there. So what we see is kind of this puff of smoke coming from the back of the car as it kind of peels out. And we want to add a few of these. We're actually going to add 4, and very easily we're just going to take the timeline here, and we're going to take this tween, click on the first keyframe, and then hold shift and click on the last, and we're just going to take this tween, we're going to right click, we're going to go down to copy frames, and then we're going to go up into the next layer and maybe go ahead to the 4th frame or so. Remember, you can read your frame that you're at on the bar right here. We're going to right click and go paste frames, just so this is staggered a little bit, so you'll see the effect once we kind of get through the next. So we want to go again to the 8th frame, so we'll do 4, 8, and 12. We'll paste, or copy, we'll paste the frames rather. Oops, so I'm going to need to copy those one more time. So again, hold shift, click, and last frame we'll go to copy frames. We'll want to be in the 8th frame, we'll paste the frames here, and then for the last one we'll go to 12 and paste frames again. So now what we should have is kind of these consecutive gradients that come out of the back of the car and kind of grow and grow as the car is taking off. So we'll go back out to our scene and take a look at this really quick. And what I said before was we're going to have to change the position of the sound. Let me turn this up a little bit. So the stop is good, the rev up is good, but the sound is delayed. The sound needs to come back to be when the smoke cloud starts, because the engine's revving and the smoke is starting to go. So what we need to take is just take this first keyframe of the sound wave and pull it, click and drag it back so that it lines up right with where we have the smoke kind of starting. So car comes in, stops, smoke clouds start to go, and then it keeps on going on. So we can't see the smoke in the preview here because it's inside of its own movie clip, but when we preview there, you can see that kind of little smoke cloud pop up. If you want to make it extra dramatic, you can make these much bigger and see them grow up more. But that is all for this particular animation lesson, and I hope you guys have success.